kind of. I just think it's weird that it just. What do you think that makes that person look like? You know what I'm saying?
Like his outlook,
his attitude, his ego. It makes him seem like he's too good to play for
but
them.
he said he's open. He said he's got open arms going to Milwaukee, a team that's worse than the Cavaliers, though, who's got the number 2 overall pick. He said, I would love to go to Milwaukee. People are saying that's a bad team. No one wants to go to Milwaukee, but he's got his arms open saying, Milwaukee, take me number 2. Don't Cleveland, please don't take me.
Personal or something?
I don't know if maybe he just doesn't like something about, the scene in Cleveland. I mean, LeBron James left. LeBron James might come back where he opted out of his contract this year. And Tim Duncan re-signed with the Spurs, Jesse. I know you're excited about that move. Tim Duncan going back to San Antonio. Does Tim Duncan going back next year, does that mean really anything big? I mean, let's say they don't do as well next year and he retires. Is his legacy might take a slight hit for not retiring at top, basically? Does it make sense?
Not necessarily. I wouldn't say that. I mean, obviously he's staying because he wants to see what more he can do with it, whether that means another championship or not.
Which they're a serious contender next year.
Yeah, they are. And I don't think that if they don't win and he retires, it's not a bad no.
Yeah.
It's not really a bad no. Now, if it's more of like, let's say, a Brett Favre scene, okay, the reason why he retired somewhat on a bad note is because of his personal life. So if his personal life ends up...
What's retirement are you talking about?
I'm not talking about what he did. I'm talking. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
the
ahead.
Whole thing
go on.
But so when it comes professional-wise, I don't think you could end really on a bad note. It's always going to be something good because how far he's gone in his career, championship or not for next year,
Duncan's back-to-back NBA Finals appearances. He's 1-1 in those last 2 championships where the Spurs won this season. Re-signed with the San Antonio Spurs, opted into his contract. Again, we talked about this too earlier today, Jesse. Royalty versus loyalty. There was a sign. Royalty is greater than loyalty. With LeBron James facing the O of loyalty, Tim Duncan's facing the O of royalty, meaning, hey, vice versa. So loyalty for Duncan, royalty for quote-unquote King James, as he's called himself and gave him that nickname as soon as he came to the league. What's your take on LeBron James really opting out this year?
I think it's a dumb move.
You think he should stay in Miami with those sorry old players?
Why not?
I don't care what people are going to criticize him anyway, no matter what he does.
Well, he said he was going to do it there, though, right? He wanted to do all this stuff there.
He went to 4 NBA championships. What else could you ask for in 4 years?
Do we gotta play that thing? How many he said?
Yeah, but
how many did he say?
Did he say championships? He just said not 1, not 2. He could have just meant NBA Finals.
Yeah,
he went to 4. He went to 4 NBA Finals and went 2-2.
How can you go all the way to the big one, and then say, okay, I don't want to play here now?
He didn't. Well, he's not saying that, but he's just opting out because he ends up signing with Miami again. He gets an extra $30 million for opting out. But the thing is Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh going to take a pay cut for him to come over into Miami? But I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying that. Oh, I want to go to this team, go to championships and win, and all of a sudden I win 2 out of 4. I'm going to leave and go to maybe a better team. I have championships in mind.
Where do you think he's going to go if he leaves?
There's rumors with Cleveland. There's rumors with New York. He could be going there. But, again, New York doesn't have the cap. Again, there's always... I put out some funny things on social media about, could LeBron James come to Utah? Really, would you guys like to see that? Of course, everyone would like to, and everyone's saying, you're crazy.
Maybe make Utah go big, Salt Lake,
It's a small town. It's a great family place.
Maybe we just need one big guy, one famous guy to come here.
And Utah has the cap for it. Only 6 teams have enough money to sign LeBron James right now. Every other team's going to go after him. I think of this like a video game of NBA 2K. When you're playing and you do like a fantasy draft and all these players opt out of their contracts and become big free agents. You got a big class of really talented free agents, and that's what we might see this year. Everyone's going to be wanting Carmelo, wanting LeBron, wanting Chris Bosh, wanting Dwayne Wade if they all opt out. This is a good championship class here, a free agency class. LeBron James, where do I actually think he's going to go? In my eyes, I've said the whole time, I really think he goes back to Cleveland. And people say, you're crazy. He's not going to go back to Cleveland. Think of Kyrie Irving and LeBron James together. Outstanding deal. We talked about it before in the show. But Jesse, I mean, like you said, if he came to Utah, I think that'd be great for the state. But honestly, we both don't think that could actually happen.
No, I don't think it could happen. Maybe if he had more of a heart, right? He'd come here.
What are you trying to say?
I don't know. I'm not saying anything.
Saying he doesn't have a heart?
I'm not saying anything, boys and girls. I'm not saying anything.
I think you're just bashing LeBron James there, if I'm correct.
Yeah, I don't care for him.
Why not?
I don't know. I mean, he's a good player. I mean, you
the best player in the NBA.
You'll give him. Yeah.
Are you kidding?
I guess,
Are you kidding me?
Okay. See, I can respect that he's good. Doesn't mean
he's great.
I like him.
He's great.
Okay, I can respect.
How can you not like the best player in the game? That's why I don't understand. You're not, but don't get me wrong, you're not like half the people on social media that bash LeBron James and
No, see, and the reason why I don't do that is because a lot of people,
I know what you're saying.
I don't bash on people or teams or whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
If it's not my team, honestly, maybe I'll rant a little bit about it, but you'll never see me go to that extent. Just like those fans that, they'll watch a team on TV, they're rooting for the other team just because they hate that team. I don't do that.
Yeah.
If it's not my team, I don't care.
It's
Unless
like
they're going against my team.
I mean, you're cheering for the Cardinals in the Super Bowl when they took on the Steelers.
Oh yeah, but
and they're an NFC team.
And that's because they're NFC.
Yeah.
See, when my team goes out, unfortunately.
Yeah, but I don't cheer for the AFC all the time when they're in the Super Bowl.
Oh, the only time I would never cheer for the NFC is if they're threatening my team's title.
You cheer for your division in the same Super Bowl?
If we're out of the Super Bowl, yeah, because it makes us look better. That's our division.
I don't know if I could.
I do. Unless they're threatening our title, then I don't. But if they're not, then why not? That makes us look a lot better.
It makes the division look better. It makes the division look good, especially if your team beat them in the regular season, I think.
Yeah, it does. And that's your division, man. They're in your neighborhood, so.
Sports fans love that kind of debate, though. Oh, well, my division's in the Super Bowl. We beat them twice this year. If they play us in the Super Bowl, we'd kill them.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's what I've always looked at it as, though. It's just like when the Giants went and beat the Patriots. Yeah, they're in our division. That made us look good, even though we should be there because we were number 1 seed.
Yeah.
And we lost to a wild card back in 2007, I believe.
NBA draft tonight. Again, Utah Jazz got the 5th pick. Cleveland Cavaliers got the number 1 pick. There's rumors Jazz might be going after Marcus Smart now at the number 5 pick. That this kid, Dante Exum, I'm telling you, he's a stud. If somehow he falls to 5, Utah better snag him. I like that kid a lot. And he's from Australia. People might not like him or seen a lot of footage of him, but the kid's outstanding. I really think he's going to become an NBA player. I love the commercials he's doing about before the life of what it's like to be drafted, the life of what's going to be drafted. And he's signing autographs, practicing, and his friend comes in and says, Dante's practicing his signature, and just making fun of him. Of course, he's with Adidas, as he signed with them today. Jabari Parker signed with Nike. I mean, Jordan, I apologize. He's a Chicago kid. He probably grew up watching Michael Jordan. And he signed with the Jordan brand now to see what he's going to do in his future. But, Jesse, let's come back. We touched a little bit on NFL right there, back and forth. Let's talk a little bit more. Historic facts about the NFL a lot of people don't know about. You're a big history buff of the NFL. And one thing I love discussing football with you, talking history. We'll come back, talk a little bit of NFL news and notes, maybe some history too, on the new and improved. This is the David Vito Show with Jesse Valdez, right here on Sports at Home. We'll be right back after this.
Follow us on Twitter at Sports at Home BNG and on Facebook, Sports at Home Radio. Now, here's Vito and Gerke.
Welcome back. This is the David Vito Show on Sports at Home Radio. Thank you guys for being part of the day with Jesse Valdez. It's not Vito and Gerke anymore. It's Vito and Valdez right here in the studio on Sports at Home on the David Vito Show. Jesse, we haven't been in the studio long together. We haven't been co-hosts long together, but me and you have had some pretty heated debates, I'd say, so far. We've had a debate about the greatest running back in the NFL. I still think you might be a little bit crazy, calling Emmitt Smith the greatest running back of all time.
He has the record.
He does. Just kidding. I'm a huge fan of Emmitt Smith, but in my eyes, Barry Sanders, I think, is hands down the greatest running back I've ever seen play.
If he would have stayed,
for what
he
did in a short time.
I won't lie. If he would have stayed in the NFL, he would have that record.
Yeah.
But
he's an outstanding running back. He was Walter Payton-like. He really was.
Yeah, Walter Payton. Well, yeah.
That's another name, Walter Payton.
He's one of my all-time favorites. Sweetness.
You put him over Smith?
Kind of, in a sense, really. Because Emmitt Smith really he looked up to Walter Payton.
Yeah.
And
everyone did. Every running back did.
And, even if you ask Emmitt Smith who is the best running back, he would say Walter Payton over himself. Because Walter Payton's the one that set that record so high. Records are meant to be beat. And because of Walter Payton, Emmitt Smith had the opportunity to try to reach for that record. So
crazy to see what Walter Payton, what he did in his career was really outstanding. Of course, me and you only got to see glimpses of video footage of watching him growing up. But, I mean, the things me and you watched on tape and everything is outstanding what he did in an NFL career. What he did for the Chicago Bears, he really changed that franchise around.
Oh yeah, if you watch him on film, it's like he's literally dancing on the field, just how his moves were. It was insane. I wish I would have been able to grow up with that more, that kind of a style of football. So
that style of football is way different from today's football, Jesse.
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know, man. Everybody, just like society in general, everybody wants everything right now. And to get everything right now, you see players move back and forth from teams, and money's trying to buy everything.
Money is everything right now, I feel like.
It's just, I don't know. And in the rules, there's a lot of rule changes in the NFL. There's always, every year, something changes.
Soft? Is that a word you'd use at the NFL now compared to then?
Kind of. I think it...
So like kind of soft?
Football's football. I mean, I understand. Keep these players safe, but you can only do it to an extent until you can't do anymore. It's just insane how much we try to change the game almost every year.
I think it's sometimes an idiotic comment I hear, but it could be true. The NFL really could move to a new type of safer football. And I've always heard the saying, throw flags on them, take the pads off. There could be a time where there might not be no more really pads in a football game, Jesse. Do you believe that?
I don't think that would ever happen again.
You don't think so?
No, I think with everything, whether it's a big business or something grows big, that's where it becomes like, because the NFL was about no pads. All it was you had the little leather cap on. That was about it. And
that's what I'm saying, the difference.
That was all right.
Yeah.
That was all right because there was no worry about insurance and, paying the players this much and doing this, and then you can get sued for this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now it's and how big the NFL has come since then. It's like they have to take every precaution to save their ends. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And geez, and even back then it was still so much different right there. It was a completely different ball game.
Yeah.
The styles that were played, even from then all the way to you could go like the 70s. That's still completely different to what you see now.
Yeah, that's why I say, is it the word soft the right word to use from what they did then and they did now? I mean, you don't see people diving with their helmets anymore, using their helmets on the defensive end, but we see the offensive players do the same thing, and they don't get flagged for it. Is there going to be a time where the offensive players you got to sit down with them and say, hey, if I can't do it, you can't do it. You can't lead with your helmet. I can't lead with my helmet. We've got to make it both ways even.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Because a player is always going to find a way to go over the rules, and that was one of the things, something that protects you can also use as a weapon. And offensive players may not. Defense is always going to get blamed more. But yeah, it's something that needs to be changed, definitely.
You guys are listening to the David Vito Show with David Vito and Jesse Valdez right here on Sports at Home Radio. Thank you guys for making us a part of your day. We're just about 5 minutes to the top of the hour here, talking some NFL news and notes from what happened in the past to, the president of the rule changes.